guys, thank you so much for joining me on their fight story. I have Matt Lightning Lyall with us, and we have Tomas Rodriguez with us. Matt and Tomas, how are you today?
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for having us again.
Thank you.
Right. How does it feel, Matt, knowing that you just got news that you will be fighting, that your fight is back on?
I think it's unbelievable. And they were very professional about it. They kept their word. And the greatest thing is that, I mean, it was less than maybe a week and a half or 2 weeks, maybe max that it was. I don't even think it was that long. And they threw it right on the next show. And it's a different show, it's a different group, but I mean, it's the same promoters, the same people, and it's a big event. I didn't know that they were having this event. It's an international event. So what's happening is the best fighters from each country come to this event, and they all fight out. So I think it's Chile, Argentina, Ecuador, and Mexico, and the United States. So it's a pretty big event, and it was funny because they had this thing going on, and I saw the promotion and the poster, but I wasn't on the poster. Then all of a sudden they talked to the champion, Eric Flores, which I actually talked to him myself afterwards, and he understood everything was it. And he's like, no, we're going to fight. And I was like, yeah, all right, we good. And all of a sudden he called me up and they told me straight out. And all of a sudden, boom, I was on the poster. And if you look at the poster, they got us as the main event right in the center. So I'm excited. Coach was excited, but it's like, don't let it get to your head. Get back in there.
What is the name of the promotion?
It's Liga. This one's different. The other one was Liga de Combate Supremo or something, and this one is Liga Complete Combate or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. And when is the fight happening?
April 24th.
April 24th. And I'm okay. Are you getting nervous with the date coming up and your paperwork and stuff? Because I know you were having issues with the last fight, or it's completely squared away.
No, I'm 100% ready. I'm just I'm listening to my coach, and I'm making sure that I don't burn myself out, and that's the only thing. I was ready. I was peaking at that time, and I want to make sure that I'm 100% in that same state of mind, and I don't burn myself out. Like his quote to me was, "Don't leave the fight in Atlantic City. You got to bring it to Mexico." So I don't want to blow everything out and stuff like that. So I'm pacing myself. Instead of running 20 miles, maybe I'll run 6. And then the rest of it, I take care of business and do what I got to do. I got to keep my leg conditioned, which I do. And, the rest of it's up to Mr. Rodriguez.
Mr. Rodriguez, you have a lot of responsibilities as far as making sure that Matt is on point, making sure that he's training the way he has to. And you also have to ensure that he has the right team going with him to his fight. How is that coming along?
Well, first of all, we're glad the fight's back on. And to one of your questions, Matt's paperwork is much better now. Everything is fine. It was a delay because of his passport. There was some stuff that was missing, and you know how it works with the passport. Getting that process that kind of delayed everything. But Matt showed that he was in the process. He got everything all done. So the fight is going to happen because they wanted to happen. So it was a little delayed. We found out it's in a bigger venue. And so we got more information. We didn't know much about it, but now we do. Matt's going to be going with a good training team up there. Someone that he's been working really, really close with besides myself is going to work his corner. So he's going to be set. But just right now, we just got to make sure his weight's fine. He's supposed to be fighting at 120. He's walking around like 120, 119. So he's in good shape because he's right there on the money. So, we devoted ourselves for a whole week. This week is going to be a Warriors camp. He'll be coming to New York, staying with me for a couple of days. And I'm going to go back and train with him also in Atlantic City. So we're going to work on cardio and conditioning and, a lot of fundamentals, not to overtrain, maybe get 2 more sparring sessions in, and then he'll be set. So right now, we just make sure that he's fine in the head. There's nothing wrong. He stays, COVID free. He makes sure that his tests are fine, and we're ready. We're ready.
Now, if he's not going to be doing a lot of sparring like towards the end, what is it that you focus on during like the last week of his training before the fight?
A lot of pad work, a lot of conditioning, a lot of like drills and working on calling on combination sequence, doing a lot of angling. and just going over the fight, dissecting little by little, but just maintaining his weight so he could eat right, but not overtrain. Like I was saying, you don't want to overtrain and lead the fight here in the United States, and then when you go to Mexico, you're burnt out. But I think Matt's gonna go right at this guy Flores. I mean, he respects him, but he wants that belt, and Matt's key is his legs. But besides his legs, we've been working with his hands, and his hands are unbelievable. He is a southpaw, but he fights better righty. I just can't believe it. He fights orthodox, even that, and his hand speed it's good. He listens and he adapts very quick. For the time that he's been off fighting, and then this whole pandemic, he just stepped it up, and he's a whole nother level right now.
Matt, prior to your March 18th fight being canceled, you were training a lot and you were sacrificing a lot of time with your family. How was this affecting your I guess your balance between your personal and your professional?
Well, as in personal life, I mean, and the actual fight was March 20th. You said the 18th, but either way.
Oh yes, I did say the
18th. To be honest with you though, with the family is understanding. I've during my career, and a lot of people know, I fought a lot, and I think I fought a little too much, and I took fights all the time against people that I should have never fought of. I mean, my pro debut in kickboxing was against a welterweight world champion, Dave Diesel Buglioni. I fought Moses Orocho, who was a champion. I mean, so many people, just everybody I fought when I started out coming up the ranks was world champion quality and became world champion. So it was like, and I was taking guys 20, 30 pounds heavier than me. And, my family at the time was just like, and then I had a family ended up having kids and as a responsibility, you have to, you have to pay your bills. You got a little more things that are responsible in that. And I ended up not, keeping up with everybody, and I watched everyone go, and my family kind of, it's if you're a fighter, you'll understand. It's even like you, whatever you have, if you have a dream of doing something, and people know your dedication and your devotion towards it, and they see that it's not your fault that you can't put everything into it. It's kind of like in the Bronx, they say the worst thing is wasted talent. You kind of just woulda, coulda, shoulda, and then you watch it, and then one day you're sitting on a couch, and you're watching these guys, fight on TV, and darn well you really had a good shot at it. You could have done something, but it wasn't in the books. It wasn't in the cards at the time. But like I said, God has His own plan, and it's funny because man makes plans and God's laugh. You think you can, you think you can predict something or control something in life. You really can't. If God wants to call your card tomorrow, you're gone. So I finally found out that what. My family, my kids are older. My family is more secure. And I went out there and I just said, what, I'm going for it. I'm not going to be one of those. I would rather lose everything and say I gave it everything that I had and it just wasn't there, than to sit there and say, what, I could have, should have, would have, and it was somebody else's fault and I wasn't able to do this. I don't like that. That's an excuse. I'd rather be 100% where it's transparent. Like, all right, Lyall, your day is done. And Mr. Rodriguez is like that. Tommy's like that. If he truly doesn't see in me that championship quality, we're not talking about little, fights here and there and amateurs and little, local shows. We're talking about like if something that you could do something with to make a difference. He'll sit there and tell me, all right, Matt, you know what? You had a good run, brother. You really did. And that's it. And you have to accept that. As much as you don't want to, you'd have to accept it because this is a guy with that type of quality that won't lie to you. And that's what that's that relationship I have with him is it's not just like a coach that says, oh, you're paying me money. You're one of my guys. So of course I'm going to push you and push you, push you. It's not about the money for him because the guy's successful. He doesn't even need me. And it's not like he's getting paid. So it's not, this guy's just doing it out of pure love. And that's what makes me even drive harder is because when you can have somebody that's not putting a dollar sign on something or what am I going to get out of it? Or are you going to give me something out of it type of mentality? That's priceless. That's like the Geico commercial. It's priceless. You don't get it. It doesn't happen. So when you get something like that, you grab it and you run with it like it's the most precious thing on earth. I found that gauntlet. So I'm doing everything I can do. I got that talent. I've been there. I fought the best. And you know what? I'm still here. If God didn't want me for 1 second to be into this type of league, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. especially at my age. You know what I'm saying? Most people at my age are having a hard time getting up every day and complaining without their cup of coffee. You know, I can sit there and run 20 miles, spar 30 rounds with the biggest guys and the best guys, and I can crack telephone poles and shake every single thing that the DOT makes in the street. So, you know, like I said, I'm 100% ready. I'm listening to what I'm told to do, and my ego, I have no ego when it comes to that. You know what I'm saying? If Tommy says, "Look, you did this wrong," I don't question. I said, "What did I do wrong?" And I got to learn, and that's it. So, you know, I just
And Miss Martina, I would like to chime in reference
go
to
ahead.
about the family. We had done something different in this training camp, which Matt, he likes. I have invited his daughter and also his son, so they come to the training camp and they get to see him train with me. So we had a good outing where I brought my daughter to meet his daughter, and he came to New York City about 2 weeks ago, and we trained in the seaport, and the girls had a good time, and they got to film us and do some filming. But they actually got to see Matt train with me, and they saw the difference. So his 15-year-old daughter, and he has another son that's 17 or 18 years old. I met him as well. He came, so I'm involving the family. I had dinner with his wife, which I know when she was 15 years old. So I'm getting the family more involved just to make sure they're at ease. And I telling them straight in their face, if I see Matt's not ready, then he's not gonna do it. So I'm there with them. Let them know that I'm only just a trainer. I'm there supporting them 100% and giving them an update what I'm seeing with Matt.
How, the same question with you, Tommy.
Yes.
How is
Yes.
this affecting your personal life? The training, finding that balance, because you have your career, you have your family, this is your first fighter that you're training, and it's big. How is that balance, and how is it affecting or benefiting, or at least for people who are trying to get in and helping other fighters find
Well,
that balance?
I explained the story to my family, and they understand that I'm doing this out of pure love and support for Matt. But Matt has lit a little fire in me because he got me back to training. He's gonna be hopefully my first fighter, and also Matt is a positive distraction. I have a son that is in Okinawa, Japan, that I haven't seen in 3 years, and I have a grandson that was born I haven't seen. So there's times I get depressed. I can't see myself. So me and Matt had developed that, that son and father and brother relationship. So he keeps me distracted. He works around my schedule, work around his schedule. My family understands that. So they know what I'm doing, but I don't leave my family out. I explain everything to them, and they understand that when I go commit myself to something, it's for a good cause, and if they know it was not, they're not going to agree with me, but they're happy because, they know Matt as well from my early career.
Now, do you feel it's important in order to find the perfect balance, do you feel it's important to involve the family, or?
Yes, for me, because your family's your worst critic. It's just like that movie in Rocky when he had to go fight the Russian. When Adrian told him you can't win, he was very upset. But then she realized it, and she showed up and she supported him. Family's the big support because they're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you what they feel. And that's why I'm so involved with Matt's family, just to make sure get them comfort, because that can mess him up psychological. Definitely mess. It would mess me up if I'm fighting. When I went to South America to fight and I came out of retirement, I told my family, like, what? I was 200 something pounds. I came down to 169. I trained real hard. I went up there, won the fight. And then they said, you're done. And I was like, yeah, I'm done. But they got my support. So,
Yeah.
But I showed them that I was dedicated. If I didn't, they would have said, you know what? Don't do it. So yes, it's very important to have the family support you, because if they don't, there's a bad distraction for you.
It is. It's people don't understand the value and the importance of having the people around you.
Yes.
It's just money. Support isn't about the money. It's about who's there for you and who's gonna be honest with you and who wants the best for you. It's not about me telling Matt what he wants to hear or telling you what you want to hear. It's what's really important and what's valuable. Now, Matt, you took some fights that were in different weight classes. Did that help you? I guess it did, but did it help you determine where you want to be fighting and not be taking any other fights that are not in your weight class?
You know what? It did and it didn't. I mean, it did, well, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it did. I mean, you definitely, as a pro, yeah, don't want to give too much weight, but I mean, as a pro though, I realized, as a matter of fact, once it's kind of funny, but there was a gentleman by the name of Devon the Energizer Cormac, and also Bobby Campbell. I don't know if you ever heard of Bobby the Jackhammer Campbell. He's a well-known world champion kickboxer also. They once talked to me a long time ago, and they always told me, why do you do that? You're a professional. Why do you give that much weight? And to me, it was like, oh, well, because, back then it's like, if you want to be picky, I'm coming in. I used to be like 112, 113, 115. No, there was nobody my weight. So if you wanted to fight at all, you couldn't find anybody to find anybody. So you're not fighting. You might as well just hang it up and quit. So, so it got to the point where it's just like I gave up. But I mean, to be honest with you, though, it is true. Once you get into those fights, I mean, if you even look at, like the UFCs and stuff like that, there's people that are like, I think there's a female that just passed out twice on the scale that just recently was fighting or whatever. And I mean, they will cut that weight down and you're not going to be given weight. Sometimes you get penalized on your purse for that. It's a profession and that's part of the game. You agree to a weight and that's what you agree to. If not, you go to the next weight division. So, yeah, but I won't do that again. How's that? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know exactly where I belong, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
And you have your coach that will tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was one of the mistakes that Matt made, but he didn't do it intentionally because when you start losing fights, when you fight guys way out of your weight class and you do good, with them, but you lose, then you become, people don't respect it. They see you as an opponent. And that wasn't Matt's idea. He just wanted to fight. And it was hard for him during those days, in the 90s and the 2000s when he was fighting back then, to get fights his weights. And he didn't have the guidance that he's have now. So he had to take those fights. But then they become losses. And then people, will say, let's get Matt. He fights anybody. And that wasn't good, and Matt would not back down for a fight. And that kind of hurt him. But that was the old Matt. The new Matt, he ain't doing that no more. I make sure that. Because if he does that, then I'm going to be off your screen because he ain't going to do that with me. He's going to fight guys his way. And when he wins this title, people are going to come and they want to fight him. And they're going to fight Matt at 119, not 120 or whatever, but not higher than that because he's not going to do that no more because he can't afford that no more. Then you're going backwards, right?
Absolutely. No, you're right. This is a business. It's a profession. You know what I'm saying? And there's rules to regulations. I mean, if I was a heavyweight, I'm a heavyweight. If I'm a middleweight, I'm a middleweight. But I'm a bantamweight. I'm 118, 119 pounds. But I'll tell you what, there will not be another person in my weight division that will ever stand in front of me. I will break every single one of them.
If they have any questions, they can see your training videos. Where did you come up with that?
I plead the fifth on that one.
Okay.
What, his training videos?
His style of training. I mean, you see people kicking banana trees and stuff like that, but I've never seen what I see when I see your videos, and it's like, oh, okay. Like it I mean, when people see it, in my opinion, based on the way I see it, it's like your videos demand respect. You know what I mean? Because you're not just kicking a bag full of sands, or you know what I mean. To me, it demands respect. And when you go and perform on the 24th, people will understand where you are coming from.
Yeah, I kind of control him a little bit on that. But when we do training, I usually Matt has a trainer and he has a person that likes to make videos behind the scenes for him. So I make a lot of good videos for him and footages. But we also review those videos on what we need to get better on. But when he starts doing that kicking stuff, I cannot be there because it's like watching a horror movie and I feel it, so I don't like doing that. But when we do the other videos of training, doing pad work and all, we review all that, and then we send what we're gonna send to his sponsors and myself, and we make little video clips to let them know. But we don't hold back. We train 2 or 3 hours. We're serious with it. We do conditioning, we do boxing. If I'm coming all the way to Atlanta City to train with him, he's coming all the way to New York, it's to work. We're not gonna come here for 1 hour. This guy gets here 3-hour drive. I got to go 3-hour drive. We're not going to play around for this 1 hour to train. We actually train, and his condition is there. And if I know he's getting good sleep when he gets home, then I know I'm doing a good job.
Okay. Okay. One of the worst things people can do is drive a lot. because it's exhausting. The drive alone is exhausting, or just sitting in a car for 3, 4, or 5 hours. How is your body when you guys are either driving or, yeah, I guess it's more driving to train versus you're already resting those 3 hours?
Oh, I can answer that for you. Myself and Matt, we made the Port Authority and the 319 and the Greyhound bus people rich because we don't drive to go up there. After workout, we just take the bus up there and the bus. So the New Jersey Transit and the Greyhound has made a lot of money from me and Matt going up and down usually because there's no way you could drive to Atlantic City, no way for him to drive to New York for 2.5 hours to come train. So we take the bus, and at least it's in his house and it leaves me in my house. So it's perfect for us.
Okay, good. That's good. That's good. Matt, do you want to give any shout outs to your sponsors before we conclude with the interview?
Everybody asked that. They all know that I appreciate them all. It's just honestly, I would probably sound stupid, keep going rambling. But on your show, so I appreciate that, and the love and the respect is there.
Okay. Tommy, is there anything you would like to say before we conclude?
Well, we're going to step it up this week for camp because, you know, I have enough time for Matt now. And we're just going to basic everything. But I'm glad that the fight is on the 24th. We're going to keep everybody updated, all his fans and his sponsors. We're going into this well prepared now. We know more information. The fight's in a bigger venue now. So Matt's in more contact with his opponent because people want to see this fight. So we're focusing. I don't like to be confident, but I know he's strong. But we're focusing on bringing that belt back. And if Matt listens and he does everything right, he should have no problem. I'm very excited for him. And once this fight is over, it's going to open up a lot of doors for him. By that time, the quarantine is dying down. And hopefully by June or July, you know, in New York, we're going to have some fights coming up. There's so many fights. You know, there's ISK, there's Glory, there's you know, there's a lot of shows that are coming out. You have Jackhammer Promotion. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening that I'm going to get Matt fights guys his weight, not guys over to him, his weight. So it's going to open. There's going to be a lot of fighters hungry to fight. So it's going to open up for Matt once we get this fight out the way.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having us again.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. See you tomorrow, Matt. Good night.
See you tomorrow.